Thank you very much for talking to us today. To what extent are all your business ventures somehow born out of your passion for Latin America?
So I've been a big admirer of Latin America because of the amount of opportunities that exist in this part of the world. I like to, before I invest in countries, I like to understand what is the macro situation. And I'm very public to say that even if Latin Americans try to screw this thing up, they're not going to be able to, because there are so many winds blowing in favor of Latin America. You know, the world needs critical minerals in order to fulfill the big commitments we made by 2050 as it relates to net carbon emissions. And Latin America is either number one or number two producer. I call it a super commodity superpower. We got lithium, we got iron, we got silver, we got tin, so I think that's very powerful. The world is growing from 7 to 9 billion people. Somebody's going to have to feed the world. And Brazil today is the largest producer, one of the largest producers of food, number one in soy, in beef, and so on. Then, you know, the current political fight between China and the US has suddenly positioned Mexico as a nearshoring opportunity for investors. Today, Mexico, for the first time in history, became the largest trading partner to the US. And lastly, Latin America has size. It's 660 million people with a very solid income per capita in excess of $20,000 per person. So when you put all this together, I'm a huge believer in the future of Latin America. And therefore, you know, I always categorize Latin America as one of the few places in the world where there's more opportunities than capital. So this is why I love Latin America, and I'm passionate about the future of this continent.
But how do you navigate through all the economic uncertainty and instability?
Well, that's what makes it fun, right? I mean, in many cases people say, oh my God, political instability. I think there's more political instability in the US, in Western Europe, in Israel, and so on. So people forget it's easy to go and look at Latin America. Latin America, pretty much every single leader has been elected democratically. We have gone from left to right in many occasions, but always with the respect of a constitution and leaders being appointed and leaders that have been voted by the people. So I don't have any issue in political instability. As it relates to another, thing that always happens, people talk about Latin America, is the currency. If you look at the behavior of the Latin American currency over the course of the last 5 years, has been in many cases better than more mature markets. Latin America was the first to raise interest rates, especially Brazil, was the first to lower interest rates. The currencies have appreciated, and what happens is, because we have so much more foreign direct investments, that actually strengthens the currency, and I don't see things changing. Like I said, these are, in my opinion, the golden years of Latin America, and to be honest, it's Latin Americans are great business people because they have had to navigate turbulent times, hyperinflation in the past, and all that. And now when things are stable, I think it allows this part of the world to shine.
So are you a believer that the power is somehow shifting from the global north to the global south?
Oh, totally. I mean, there are so many different facts that basically show we have a young population, we have a growing population. In Latin America, I think over 40% of the population is less than 25 years old, same as Saudi, India, and so on. And I think when you visit this part of the world, you see the energy, you see the passion, you see people wanting to grow. The rest of the world has slowed down growth. We're going to have issues with in other parts of the world where there's more people that are over 65 years old than under 5 years old. So I love what is going on in the global south, and I think the future of the world, the power is changing to this part of the world, not only in terms of growth, but if you look what's going on in the financials, in the financial capital markets of the world, the Middle East has taken a prominent role, both as Saudi, the Emirates, Qatar, and I love what is happening. Rather than them investing traditionally in US private equity firms, now you see these sovereign funds go directly, and the fact that we're in FII in Brazil, that's just a testament to that. You would have never thought Saudi Arabia coming and making such an important statement by bringing the premier investment show to a place like Brazil. So couldn't be happier with everything that's going on here.
Can you tell me a bit more about the two-way opportunities between Saudi Arabia and Brazil and other countries in Latin America?
I think both countries have a tremendous amount of chemistry. I was very lucky to be invited to the last visit of President Lula to Saudi Arabia, and we had a good opportunity to spend time with the Crown Prince. And there's chemistry about the two countries. The two countries have aspirations in terms of saying we no longer need to be in second or third place. Brazil is going to be, if things continue to go this way, the sixth largest economy in the world. So there's no reason to be treated as, we are, I wouldn't call maybe second-class citizens. And both countries have tremendous aspirations to be able to lead. I love where the kingdom is thinking as it relates to AI. The kingdom needs Brazil for food security. The kingdom needs Brazil for critical minerals. The kingdom needs Brazil for potential sources of energy to power data centers. Brazil needs, there's a lot of learnings that Brazil can bring from Saudi Arabia. And I see tremendous amount of synergies. I've seen phenomenal investments from the different Saudi portfolio companies investing in Brazilian companies, Minerva, Vale, and so on. So I think the beautiful thing about this is there's a lot that Brazil can contribute to Saudi, and there's a lot that Saudi can contribute to Brazil. Brazil is a highly industrial country. Saudi Arabia needs industries. So anytime that I think the best partnerships are always formed when two partners need each other and when two partners have a good chemistry. And what I've seen is a lot of chemistry, a lot of good projects, and two countries that want to continue to thrive.
Why have you joined the FII movement?
See, I love what FII is all about, right? I think it's a premier investment conference. It's great to travel around the world to different conferences and meet people that are like you. I think other conferences have lost that, and I love the ambition. I love the size. I mean, who would have thought that we had over 1,500 people and that we stopped accepting registrations at FII in Brazil? 3 months ago, we were nervous. Today, we could not be more satisfied because you have not only the best Brazilian leaders, the conference was opened by the president of the country, but you also have investors from China, from Korea, from the Middle East, from Europe, from the US, from other parts of Latin America. And I think that's what makes the FII family so special.
I talked to somebody today who flew from Shanghai for over 30 hours to be here at this conference. It's incredible.
I mean, China looks at Latin America as the next frontier for a very, very basic reason. It's obvious to say that Chinese companies struggle to enter the US and Europe. India has blocked them, so suddenly Latin America becomes an attractive place, and there's incredible amount of similarities. The way I like to picture Latin America versus China, incredibly similar, but Latin America is half the size, and Latin America is sitting 5 years behind China in technological deployments. So Chinese that have deployed incredible fintech, AI, logistics companies, etc., they come and they look at Latin America, and it's like they can replay a movie of what has happened in China.
And finally, you might remember the last year's FII symbol was the compass.
Yeah.
You're a very busy man, but where do you feel your compass is taking you next?
Where it takes me is to just invest in businesses that I enjoy and have a new measurement. In my early part of my career, it used to be return on equity. Today is return on E squared, means equity and enjoyment, and I'm just privileged to be one of those that just loves what I do, and I'm lucky enough to be able to invest in great entrepreneurs, great fund managers, and be able to contribute my 30 plus years of experience in helping those entrepreneurs grow their companies.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.